The only thing more difficult than gaining a competitive advantage is keeping one. It is incredibly difficult, if not impossible, to maintain a competitive advantage for decades. And I don't think most people truly can appreciate or even understand what it is to remain competitive and operate at that level, not just for a season, but for decades. Decades. I mean, we look at some of the all-time great organizations like the University of Alabama, the New England Patriots, and when they're winning, championships, it's amazing, but they don't win them every single year. And you see even in, let's say, the companies in the S&P 500, you see huge shifts from the ones that are at the top to those that even get kicked out of there and are no longer there. And it's like once dominant, but now no longer dominant. So what do you do? What I found most interesting is why this happens. And it makes sense. It's a few reasons. Number one, when you're right, humans have a tendency to believe they'll always be right. You gain this false sense of confidence because you've had a lot of wins, and let's say you've had a great year or a series of great years, and you think that will continue indefinitely. That's not the way the world works, and that's number one. When you gain that confidence, sometimes it also leads to hubris, and you believe that you cannot fail and you cannot make a wrong decision. So the way in which you interpret information and the way in which you go about leading your organization, now you start experiencing blind spots because you're not as paranoid as you once were. Okay, that's number one. Number two, you also have to look at it from the standpoint of, why do you work so hard? Like really, sometimes the idea behind working so hard is so that you can get to a place where you don't have to work so hard. And yet, once you get to that place, sometimes inherently the organization becomes less competitive, right? So everything that you're doing today is sometimes with the idea of, I'm going to invest my time, my energy, my money to eventually get my organization to a place where I no longer have to work 70, 80 hours a week. But the challenge with that is that, let's say you get to that place and you're no longer working 70 hours a week, maybe you're working 30 hours a week, 20 hours a week. Well, now there's certain compromises that happen, but it makes sense because you want to enjoy your life. Isn't this the whole reason you were working so hard? So the unfortunate truth is it never ends.